And we are live, baby. Yeah, yes, sir. What's good? Look at me. Hey, shit. You know, we back. Been pimping since pimping, been pimping. Um, boys want to go out tonight. They want to get together, go out, drink, and you know what? I am gonna stay in and scroll on TikTok. Doesn't that sound nice? Doesn't that sound better? So, um, without further ado, what's an ado? Like, I never got that, but yeah, works out. Let's get onto TikTok. Damn, I'm good looking as fuck. All right,
drive,
this
okay?
kid.
Hey, can someone hand me some
hilarious.
pretzels? Just put some
It's
in my
funny.
palm. Just my palm.
Hold on, we gotta try. We gotta.
My freaking
We
palm.
gotta test.
No. I want some. No, you can keep the bag. I don't want the freaking bag. Shoot. I don't want to hear anything from any of you for the rest of the drive, okay? Hey, can someone hand me some pretzels? Just put some in my palm. Just my palm. My freaking palm. No, I want some. No, you can keep the bag. I don't want the freaking bag. Shoot. I don't want to hear any.
Oh, man. Y'all thought the Illuminati was influential. Do you know
What is this?
who these men are?
No, we don't know
What
who
this
these men are,
council
bro.
has done to all of you?
No, we don't know them.
Especially those who read the Bible.
Oh, the apostles?
Oh yeah, you're gonna learn something.
Is that the apostles, maybe?
Yes.
Learn me something,
Comment
bro.
below who you think these men are. I'm curious to what you think. I'm about to tell you in 3, 2, 1. This right here is the Council of Carthage. These are the men who decided what books will go into the Bible and what books will not.
Sound confirmed.
Cyprian. He was one of
I got
the
the I got the I got
you
the
had Augustine of Hippo. You had Donna Tusk. I am butchering that name.
Donna Tusk.
I'm not going to go into the specifics about these leaders. Definitely weren't perfect. I wouldn't call them evil, but this is important stuff right here. See, these men were extremely violent, right? When they created the Bible you have now, and they wanted to hide a lot of things. The reason why these councils were put together is when people debated about God, Jesus, what happened. See,
I need to change the name of this video.
Remember, they weren't prophets. They were never ordained as somebody who would have authority over what you should read from what you think is the word of God. No, they put themselves together. And through their biases and their wanting of power, they created a Bible that you read today and determine what you read in that Bible. But guess what, family? The deepest of books were left out. If the books were too deep, if it helped the people who they were oppressing at the time, if it went against, what they thought about men and women, they took the books out. If it taught you about the inner spirituality, they took it out. There will be a list of all the books they took out, or most of them. I can't put them all. There's so many. Down in the description of the video. But I brought this up because when I break down Genesis, when I break down what's canon and for me, These people play no part in that. They have
Excuse
no
me.
authority over what I consider divine. They have authority over you because you allow it. See,
How you
many
know?
people want to know what I consider true in the Bible. And you have to remember, I don't have a religion. I walk with all religions.
Okay.
And no one has authority over my relationship with God like many of you have. I don't have that. I'm free of that. So what you have to understand is,
He's free of that.
one, the Bible is not a book made to be interpreted literally. It is a book of allegory and metaphor, and it is meant for you to think about it. Whoever interprets it literally will not understand the text. You got to understand that, number one. You have to understand that. But the second thing you must understand
What is it?
is that I do not consider everything in the Bible canon. I do not consider everything in the Bible a book that should be included in that. Remember, the Bible was just put together by these men. They have no authority over me and my brain and my relationship with the divine. When I read a text based on what I and the Creator have in a relationship, is based on what I consider to be the Word. Period. So actually, a lot of
Period.
books, and I'll give you this before we go. If the stories contradict and go against Genesis and Revelation, this is the rule for most stories. I'm gonna give you this. No one else is going to give you this information right here. In any story,
Give
like
it to
you're
us.
trying to figure out what's canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh,
You're
no.
trying to figure out what's canon
Pause.
in DC, right? In comics or in movies. Always ask yourself this question.
What is it?
Is it in line with the original creator of the rest of these stories? The very first book, and this is agreed upon, period, for anybody who believes in the traditional Abrahamic scriptures. Because this is not the only place where you'll find the Word of God. You can find the Word of God in any culture, by the way. But it's Genesis. If it does not agree with Genesis, it is not canon. Family. So, more importantly, this is broken down as far as the story of Genesis and how it relates to us, because it's very true, and how every story that is divine, manifests on every level, is broken down in the book called FAMS, Food, Forest, Foraging, Hunting, Anti-Fragile Modern Society. It frees us from this matrix that a lot of y'all are stuck in. And this is going to change your perspective on everything. You can get the book right here. You can get the free version, the audio version, and the link at the top of the page. I love you all. Peace.
Okay.
What is happening here? Is that you? Both of them? Damn. Went and escaped slavery, got the freedom. How? Explain this to me. Like, they both your ladies? Nigga went and got 2 white girls. You greedy motherfucker. Said, I ain't never going back to the South no more. Oh, Lord,
Stupid.
down by the river. Oh, my Lord. To the 2 white people, join in. Wade in the water. What's your name, brother? What is it? King Fredo.
King
Okay.
Fredo. Okay.
Did you sell them your cocaine?
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
my Lord.
Oh, my Lord.
What is happening here?
Method number 2, if y'all trying to get these goddamn, let me show y'all one. If y'all want these,
What?
that's the second method. Now,
A
this
free
is called the
Hellcat.
fake check method, right? Y'all ready? Get your pen and paper out because I'm finna, you know what I'm saying? Check me out.
Don't do this.
Step number one.
Don't believe this.
Step number one. Hold on. I'm finna teach you. Hold on. Relax. Just relax. Step number one, you know what I'm saying? For the fake check method. And my job for all my niggas, man, I'm teaching y'all boys how to get any vehicle you want. Like, I'm the Atlanta final boss. I know how to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Fake check method. Step number one. What you will need to do is find a blank sheet of paper. Your nearest blank sheet of paper. It can't have no lines, no words, no none of that. Blank sheet of paper only. You know what I'm saying? Step two. Write down how much you want. You want 500,000? Write that bit down. You want 300,000? You might not even want that, but you probably want a slight little 70,000, 80,000.
Leggings.
You a haircut, you know what I'm saying? Look, check me out. Write that down on a blank sheet of paper. Step three, you gonna go to your nearest vending machine. That motherfucker in the vending machine. Your money coming out ASAP, nigga. Y'all be wondering like how this shit. I'm telling you. Now that's the fake check method. I went over the girlfriend method already. Now the last and final method. This is the most boringest method. Like who the fuck really wants to do this shit, my nigga? Check me out.
Bring that back one more time. I couldn't listen. I was coughing.
Method number two, if y'all trying to get these goddamn, let me show y'all more. If y'all want these, it's the second method. Now, this is called the fake check method, right? Y'all ready? Get your pen and paper out because I'm finna, you know what I'm saying? Check me out. Step number one. Step number one. Hold on. I'm finna teach you. Hold on, relax. Just relax.
Come on, man.
Step
We
number
want to
one,
know.
you know what I'm saying? For the fake check method. And my job for all my niggas, man, I'm teaching y'all boys how to get any vehicle you want. Like, I'm the Atlanta final boss. I know how to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Fake check method. Step number one. What you will need to do is find a blank sheet of paper. Your nearest blank sheet of paper. It can't have no lines, no words, no none of that. Blank sheet of paper only. You know what I'm saying? Step two. Write down how much you want. You want 500,000? Write that bit down. You want 300,000? You might not even want that, but you probably want a slight little 70,000, 80,000. You trying to get you a haircut, you know what I'm saying? Look, check me out. Write that down on a blank sheet of paper. Step three, you gonna go to your nearest vending machine. Stick that motherfucker in the vending machine. Your money coming out ASAP, nigga. Y'all be wondering like how this shit. I'm telling you. Now that's the fake check method. I went over the girlfriend method already. Now the last and final method. This is the most boringest method. Like who the fuck really wants to do this shit, my nigga? Check me out.
Are you trying to rank up and level your weapons? Leady split in MW3? Let this cowboy here show you how it's done. First, you're gonna go into zombies with this little energy mine field upgrade equipped. Go to an exfil location and tell them boys you gotta go. This will cause a ton of zombies to spawn on your location, but don't exfil in the chopper. Just stick around and gather up a big horde of zombies. Holding whatever weapon you want to rank up in your hand, go to the front of your train of zombies and pop the energy mine. And look at all the XP, boy! You can max out multiple weapons in one game of freaking zombies. So what are you waiting for, partner? Go get and put them undead back in.
I might get that game.
I ain't gonna hold you out of all the
I might
challenges
start
ever
playing
did.
that
It's probably
game.
the most doable. So boom.
Hello
me and
tacos.
Will. Let me type in with my English. They bet. Oh, me and Will. Will and I slid to the challenge, bro. Essentially, we had 7 minutes to eat the 20 tacos in front of us. Don't even play too crazy, I ain't gonna lie, because you can't eat it. Boom. Gotta pay the little hefty fee. Now, mind you, I chose 15 tacos, carne asada, puso aguacate, feel me, un poquitín de cebolla, you feel me, 5 tacos de El Pastor, you feel me, Will had 10, you feel me, 10 El Pastor, 10 carne asada, you feel me, shit, agua fresca de piña, sure.
Yeah, Zersky, that's how you
I
do
couldn't
it.
just enjoy the tacos normally. I just say fuck it and eat the tortilla all by itself. Get that dry ass shit out the way. Tap into the carne asada. Tap into El Pastor. face the meat, pause, feel me? Let's go.
He's undefeated.
Militia should be proud of me.
He's undefeated. I've never seen him lose.
God, with Kirby. Pa que se ayuden, pinches gatos. Ay! You feel me? Shout out Tacos Los Palomos. If you're in California or the LA area ish. Feel me?
That challenge looked mad
West
easy.
Coast.
No, I don't think so.
The truth is, it's not even a question anymore between right and left.
What happened over here?
It
at
is
Trump
normal
rally?
versus crazy, and the left is doubling down on crazy.
Should I tell her? Should I just tell her to watch what's happening around? I'll do that. I'm Ben Meiselas from the Midas Touch Network. That's MAGA Republican Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Not sure if she's standing in front of her $20,000 podium right now. That doesn't exist. Nope, that's not it right there. And with zero self-awareness after Americans rejected MAGA Republican extremism on November 7th on election night, repudiated MAGA extremists, you have Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying that. And you have Donald Trump and all of the...
Yeah.
Baby. I got so much love to give. Oh, baby.
Baby,
Oh,
baby.
baby, now, baby.
Hold on, nah, we gotta see water into hydrogen. No, we gotta see what happened with John Sarko just now. Look at that. That's what happens to batteries? It's crazy. You get that thing so perfectly. What is that rod made out of? Simple hydrogen generator. See some copper. That's wild. got? Got some bubbles. Oh, this is how they make sparkling water. Just kidding. Okay. Stop showing me that. Stop showing me this. Yo, my TikTok page needs to be refreshed. It keeps showing me the same stuff. I think I gotta take this into my own hands. Gotta take this into the deep into the rabbit hole.
Corners, kiddos, okay? You always want to slow down. Slow way down so you don't hurt anyone.
We've looked
including
that up
yourself.
already.
Because your protection, your own safety should be your utmost priority. You understand? That should be numero uno. Oh my God. Oh my God, we're dead. We're dead. We're dead.
Fighting. Somebody pulled a gun on dude?
When the f have I said hard R? I say I'm that all the time. I don't say hard R. Say hard R.
Oh! Hey, wait, sign the waiver first. Sign the waiver. No waiver, I ain't signed it.
No one can tell me anything.
I
no one can tell me anything. No one can tell me anything. John! John! Why are you mad?
John! Say it again.
No, why are you mad?
Say it one more time. Say it one time. Say it real quick. Say it. Go ahead and say it. Look at the height difference. Say it. Say it real quick. Be ready. Say it.
No.
Say it.
I'm not afraid.
Say it then.
I'm not afraid.
Say it.
All right, I got a question. Serious question.
So, wait, hold on.
Let me talk. Wait. You racist. You racist. You're not wrong with me, bro. You really take it. I got you. He said he racist to Chinese people.
Yo, put it on camera. Yo.
Wait.
I don't know Chinese.
Who are you racist towards? Are you racist towards black people?
I raised in a black family. Kwaku, Keithland, Yao. Black Christian family. I'm a racist.
Are you racist? Do you like black people? Yes or no? Do you like blacks?
I'm not particularly fond of them. When the f have I said hard R?
Oh my God.
All the time. I don't say hard R. Say hard R.
Oh! Hey, wait, sign. What's going on in here, man?
You never did research on me when you collabed with me? You knew my clips?
No, I heard.
Oh, you knew my clips on Twitter?
Somebody told me like racist, and I was like,
Yeah. Yo,
don't worry about it.
after we're friends, you believe
I thought you was racist. I thought you was.
All right, I got a question. Serious question.
So,
wait, are you racist?
Hold on.
Let me talk.
I was already leaving. Damn, back up, yo, Zirka just pushed up. Stop. Get the ass out of here. It's okay. All right, get the fuck out of here. No, cry about it. Yeah. I was already leaving.
I just want to congratulate Prime that he fought a dude pissing blood with a ruptured genitalia from a car door getting slammed. So I'm always walking like this on streams, even when I'm fighting and boxing. And look at this. It's not spraying anymore, fully dislocated.
What the hell? What's wrong with this guy? This is the guy he fought today. This guy, Tiki or something.
You good?
Well, no, I'm not good.
Zirka, real quick. Zirka.
Are you looking like this? What the fuck? Oh shit, yo, I gotta go soon, bro. I'm going for some.
All right, real quick, last thing.
Yo, it's just picky talking. Why your bitches don't look like this, bro? Bitches look like goblins. Your bitches look like Mias. Okay, we're gonna.
All right, well, real quick, please. Yo, Zirka. So for 50K.
I'm busy, bro. Fuck Diaz. I don't want Diaz. I'm busy. I'm wrestling. You're great. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna do this call and then we're gonna go get some Wagyu. Yo, I'm trying to fuck. What the fuck?
Zerka, last time I asked you, and then we'll set up Zias and you, but Zerka, would you fight, yes or no, would you fight HS for a 5-minute street fight for $50,000?
I want the famous man.
All right.
I want the big, muscular, black man.
Listen, I'm out. You ain't gonna fight.
Yo,
You ain't gonna fight.
Hey, it's just picky talkie. It's just picky talkie. I swear on Jesus' name, I'll fight you when you show real viewership. You'll be after Zias, because I want to punch that.
Zerka.
Okay.
Phone broke. Azinski? Sure.
Little Osama bin Laden.
I just had a dart. Just tobacco all night.
Is that you?
That's the Zinskis.
You guys are hardcore.
We haven't even thrown in a Zinski with Chedsky.
Yeah, we need a Zinner with Chad. Chadbury.
Let's
Should we sleep monster with some?
When Steiny comes back, we'll go and sleep monster.
Quick thinking.
Speaking of, maybe
Are we? I thought we were at
You guys are gonna take over. Easy.
pop in a little Friday Night Zinski.
No, if you guys stay in Miami, you'll be #1 in like 2 weeks.
It's good for a first stream.
Yeah. And Aiden's out there. You guys met Aiden?
Yeah, of course.
Aiden's offering me $700,000 to box Zias. It's like a big money.
Are you gonna do it?
Yeah, fight a big.
Phone broke. Azinski? Sure.
What's up?
Hey, oh my. No, where's Matt? Matt!
How many people just got fired?
Zerka, why are you standing up for Logan?
You're gonna get cracked, bro. I don't see your fucking role play.
Standing up for a girl. Standing up for you, Claire. Grab on his pocket.
What's up?
Zerka's a loser, I'm God.
Yo, Paul, you wanna bet he's scared of me?
I know he is. I know he's scared of you, bro. People really don't keep the same energy IRL. It's really crazy. That's fucked up, bro.
How does it work? Dude, I wanna see how it works. What's your name again?
Just call me. And really, like, and with a cut arm, I can do this with one arm, is what I'm thinking. I didn't think my shoulder would actually pop. I'm not gonna warm up. Just the dumbest fucking thing you could do as a dehydrated dude who has this stuff for 4 days. And, God is like, oh, you don't want to warm up, you want to be that cocky, it's gonna pop. So my fucking, you see the first few seconds of the round, I actually look like I've been there before. I've never boxed before. Not that I'm good or anything, but I'm saying I'm not afraid. So the first few seconds, I walk up to him, I have the jab, my guard is up, my ass is not sticking out, everything's perfect, right? As soon as my shoulder popped, it was an excruciating lightning pain, but then adrenaline right away. But the problem is, even my right hand wasn't throwing correct punches because that pain, I said, Prime is fighting Zerka, Zerka is fighting his arm, and the referee is fighting Zerka, not to kill Prime. Because he kept fucking pulling me off the guy, right? Yeah.
Zerka's a
You think it's funny? You're trespassing on my property. Get the hell out of my yard. JT, let me have this house. JT let you have my house. Yes. My shed. I want it. You're trespassing on my property. You didn't win in my yard.
Wait.
All of you.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that? You think it's funny? You're trespassing on my property. Get the hell out of my yard.
What the hell is even that?
So would it be smarter for these OnlyFans girls that are pretty? Let's say McKinley, if she was cute. Wouldn't it be smarter if she's cute? Wouldn't it be smarter if broken fucking couch broke itself. Check it out. Wouldn't it be smarter for this girl to not on OnlyFans but picked up a billionaire husband and swiped his credit card for 80 years?
Oh yeah.
Heard that? If she would have made more money if she was a Starbucks girl and a fucking rich dude picked her up. She fucked up.
Right back to Starbucks and say, make me a drink, bitch.
Oh.
Now she can only make you a fucking Hercules Frappuccino. So would it?
Wait. No. Come on.
Listen.
I saw the clip 5 seconds ago. It is violent.
I know, that shit was like...
Sucker shit, bro. Come on. No sucker slaps, bro. Sucker slaps are fucking retarded.
Exactly. You hear that, Prime? Prime's officially bitch, but
And you know, they talked it out. Didn't you guys talk it out?
Yeah, we talked.
Bro, he said an ER in front of me, bro.
Prime said Zerka was afraid to say the N-word in front of him. I'm done. Wait.
I'm not gonna be the only person.
Oh yeah. Respect, Prime.
Bro, he said an ER.
Who the fuck said I'm being racist? Say, prove it.
Knocked out, bro.
Prove it. Who the fuck gonna knock me out?
I'm gonna knock you out.
For what?
I'm gonna knock you out.
For what?
I'm gonna knock you out.
So do it.
I'm gonna knock you out.
So do it.
Oh! Jesus, this guy's got clips.
You're not afraid of shit, bro.
What?
Look, snub me again, bro.
That's the wrong one.
We're getting along. We're getting along.
That wasn't the other fight.
Where is he?
Where is he?
Boy.
Boy, don't call him white.
No. He's right here. Hey, woman, let me grab that. Yo, you're the first person to snuff John Zerka, bro. Let me tell you this, bro. Let me tell you this, bro. You're everything Ziaz is not. You know who Ziaz is?
I don't know what that is.
Say Ziaz is a bitch.
Ziaz is a bitch.
I'm worried about you.
You got a little man.
Have you been sleeping?
No, I do blow.
Okay. On that note, I don't think they got the latest one on here. I just heard about it. What's Tartaria? Let's get into Tartarianism.
In today's video, we're going to go over another one of these completely
10
passive
minutes
applications that will pay you for your unused internet bandwidth.
Okay.
People often tell you to pay attention. This implies that attention is some kind of currency, something that must be paid. No
Yes.
thank you, I might say. I cannot
Good.
spare any attention.
Yes, sir.
Well, I thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You really don't have to pay attention to this video. But
Okay.
today we'll discuss the end of the world.
All
Welcome.
right. I think I will pay attention. Sounds pretty important.
Somewhere in this alt-hist website, althist.com, we can see
I'll follow this guy
a
on
good
YouTube.
collection of showcases.
It's not this
Everyone
guy,
has been
it's John
adding to
Levy.
it, and it's awesome. These are highlighted ones, and then if you go to the community one, you'll see individual catalogs thus far. And we're not moderating anything yet. And I don't care what people post,
Yeah,
but I want
giant.
it to be factual, not artificial
Fake.
images, as we can see here. And maybe that'll be our only rule, because they're not doctored. But otherwise, 99% awesome and over the top. Really. One of my favorites is this one called Somewhere in Time. It's got about 1,000 pictures, and the style that I like. And what a display here. And I've been thinking a lot lately. The Hopis talk about this realm being reset
When
at
was
least
this?
4 times. I think we're living in the 5th. The Mayans, long cycles. Short ones and long ones. And old mythology from 2,000 plus years ago, talking about the 5 ages of man and how we went from the golden age backwards to essentially the plastic age that we're living in
I'll
now.
buzz around
And
for
one of my
Zinni.
favorites is the Indian texts
Zinni.
talking about the Yuga cycles.
Not
I
that
think
Zanny,
the
no.
Indian texts have been most preserved. And in these Yuga cycles, it's the same
Sponsored.
thing as the 5 ages of man. The first Yuga is the best. People live the longest. Time is slow.
don't do
The realm is built out
nicotine.
as beautifully as it ever will be compared
never
to
done
the following cycles. And there is a destruction in between each cycle, and each cycle seemingly being shorter than the previous one. Everything plays out, expressing itself in these cycles. And we, of course, just like all the other myths of people, are in the last cycle. The Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga is the worst, the darkest, most wicked cycle.
Well-
Lies and illusion, injustice, destruction, and also the
Doesn't sound
quickest
great.
cycle. This would be comparable to Revelation, the same myth being portrayed. After Jesus, there's 1,000 years of prosperity, followed by a dark season, and 200 years of darkness, similar to this Kali Yuga idea in the Indian myth. And I believe in this cycle, there's complete darkness, but there is also complete light, just as bright. You only have to strip away the illusion that you have been masked in. Everything is covered up, and if you could only peel off the illusion, or the mask, or the facade, you would see the truth. That's what I'm talking about right now. You would see the golden age before us, in ruins, and the stories of the Indian myth of the yugas would make more sense than the stories we're given as actual accounts of how this realm came to be. And I think it's similar to a rebirth, once understanding this. And actually you can just witness the destruction. People often
That's crazy.
And understand what's really going on, not get too emotionally attached, and know when you are being fed falsities in history and the present.
Gotta know,
and you
you gotta
can
know.
have peace. The old world as you knew it, your ideas of what is and what was, will die. And in the place of your former beliefs, you'll have a new understanding, one that is grounded in truth. And I believe that those of us that are good struggle in this world, because it's not good and just in the Kali Yuga. It is a destruction cycle, the end in which the new will be reborn. And I must believe that the conditions are simply different in a more favorable Yuga cycle. And building structures like this and living in harmony are more conducive to a favorable cycle. And we don't really need to fight against the cycle, only understand it. And I think that's what this research has helped me ultimately do, is really make sense of what's going on in this realm. Now, some would say that that's depressing, that first rant
Your
about the
voice is
Kali
depressing.
Yuga. And I don't know, it's just how you look at it. Maybe at first, but I think the idea is to be freed, not so serious. Are you going to be serious in the Kali Yuga? Yes, you should be serious about basic things that require seriousness. But this whole business of life is not so serious. Not as serious as we would be led to believe. This is the Taoist idea of a man clinging to the side of a river, holding onto a root of a tree. This is serious. And then some children that he notices floating down the river on their back, laughing. I think we all start out with the mentality that must have prevailed in the Golden Age.
Okay, show
All
some
the
facts.
meat off of the bone. They'll go into the cavities,
Alright,
into the skull, eating all the brains. And the beetles also drop their waste all over the bone as they're feasting. And the waste is like a yellow slime, and it actually acts as a beautiful yellow polish, a highly sought after technique. And I'm not proposing that these were buried with beetles, only that they are just as clean and polished. I mean, I kind of empathize with these people, so disregarded, seeming disrespectful for any culture in any part of the realm. I mean, who was this man? Just one in millions. Oh, my name was Harry. Oh, hello, Harry. And what could Harry here tell us? What could these four people tell us? No, I don't want to tell him. Alright. You know it wasn't fun, Gus. I know. And here's some pyramids with obelisks on top, and really looking just like a South American style pyramid, but this one is in Holland. Great. Here again, we see lines all around it.
Random pause.
Okay, so this is fresh off the press. Thank you, David. A look at a plan of New Orleans in 1770 by Captain Pittman, the British Army. So here we go. We see the Mississippi River at the bottom here, and we see a very sophisticated grid system within a star fortification wall. And though we don't see depictions, we have them listed up here. The church, the beautiful church that we've seen before, Old World, a prison and guardhouse, governor's mansion, of course, some royal structure, number 5 down here on the river, an arsenal for boats, number 7 here. The king's storehouses. Again, America becomes America officially in 1776. This is pre-America officially. This map depicting the royal elegance that we see in the old world. Here we have reference to a building for a king. We have a hospital. And more importantly, we have a city laid out within a star fort in 1770. Next, I thought we would look at a little book. This little book is from 1899. From Kiev. I don't care how you pronounce that these days. And what we see depicted up here near the ocean Arcticus is cities of Tartar. The Magnus Tartarus. Here we see a king, and we see kings and castles everywhere. An abundance of beautifully depicted castles everywhere. We see a complex ley line system and what seems to have been a glorious kingdom. And I don't care who you are, even a child would recognize these all as castles. Drawings of castles everywhere. And yet when we're taught about the people in this time period, in this case 1557, or is that a J? We are taught that they're primitive people living in wood shacks, and yet some of the last and greatest evidence can be found in these maps, coupled of course with existing either structures or ruins to present day, as we've discussed for years and seen proof of. The cities have changed their names, but the arc of history, and yet we're led to believe that things for us. Are people so careless? They can build great cities and yet they can't keep them from burning. 18th century, Copenhagen, the star fort, water-filled city. No, this city of brick and water has the same fate. Fire of Boston, Great Fire of New York City, 1776. Again, America is celebrated as becoming America in 1776. And look at this. There's already a city. And these primitive people, what are they doing? They're fighting while the city is burning. Some people are looting here. This man seems naked. But the city is completely built out and elegant looking. It's starting out, and yet it's on fire. And here, again, 1788, New Orleans. We no longer see these buildings listed, but we do see a great fire taking out a chunk of the city. What a careless and clumsy people. And it's no different in Japan. 37,000 houses burned. Again, Moscow burns in 1812. Buffalo, New York, 1813. Second Great Fire of New York City, 1835. Here a little look at life in 1835. These people aren't even looking at the fire that they're fighting.
Yeah,
hey, why
nothing
don't you
nice.
turn that hose towards the building? These people. This man running into the building. This man is saying, no, come back, don't be a fool. And it's no different. These buildings made of brick and stone. The Great Fire of Bucharest. Here we go. Old world on fire. Fire. The people kind of just hanging out here, just BSing, and it just goes on and on and on. And really, we see a lot of drawings of the fire, but seldom do we see pictures. Only the aftermath. Only as if somebody is rolling into these new, now cooked out towns and snapping a photo, perhaps for the first time. Here we see the Great Fire of Toronto in 1904. Look at the amount of brick, these facade Corinthian columns, facade blockage down here. Looks like another level could be seen down there. I see a hole or something, and a lot of detail up here at the top. And what do you do in the end? Well, you don't do what they want you to do. You discard everything you've been taught and find peace, your peace, an inner under and overstanding of reality and the kind of life that you would live. And I think we can still create our reality. And what have I learned about all this research? I think it's mostly that we've all been had, everyone, in every nation, every advanced civilization and primitive, everybody upon in this drama. To make things worse, they have us all pinned against each other, fighting each other as nations, within nations, with political parties, while the leaders of these nations are often in the same boat, playing the people like fools. I think the first thing we should do is stop fighting each other, stop debating the topics they will have us debate, and look at the bigger picture. And I think we can prosper in the Kali Yuga while everything is crumbling. It's a perfect time to rebuild. Most people won't notice. And one can still buy land, one can still build communities, homes, grow their own food, power their own homes for free, even if it is just solar and wind power. Land is the biggest tragedy. While homelessness is growing in America, nobody asks the authorities to free up some of the federal and state-owned lands. Free the land. Give it back to the people. And until then, we can still buy land. Cheap land won't have water, but you can drill a well, you can build a road, and live free. Many of the homeless would not be enticed by free land. They would choose to live in their tents. Perhaps at heart they are nomadic tent people. But I think most people would be willing to build a home. And I think all people deserve an acre of land where there's no shortage of it. This is by design to make our lives more difficult.
John Levy for president.
But I think as much as people despise the system, they are also enticed by it, and it's understandable. But as it...
Alright.
I'm so happy with this research and the awakening that it's brought. But it's also a dead end.
Oh.
There will always be opposition.
Oh.
We in this community are the small percentage. I imagine most of us have gone against the grain most of our lives. Some people have entered this community only to attack it, and equally I feel sorry for them, now entering into an even smaller percentage. A small percentage within a small percentage. And using all the same terminology, they end up getting shadow banned too. If I was such a person, I would just make videos for the masses, telling them how wonderful mainstream history is. How wonderful man was with his horse and buggy, all the great things he could do. I would just pat man and history on the back all day long, if I sincerely believed it, like these people seem to.
Yeah.
Most of these alternative histories will be put in a small box on this platform and shared with the small percentage. So here's a brewery. Today's video is not about breweries, but somebody shared this in the comments. Of course this is a brewery, and it makes perfect sense to look like a castle. How great our ancestors were with their horse and buggy. Look at what they could do. Sorry. Thanks for being here today. I'm not sure what I'm going to share with you all.
Share something, bro.
Things open that I wanted to share with you. And to borrow from Adam the Woo, I hope you'll join me. Shall you? Welcome.
Shall? A little bit. John
wow,
Levy
this video will
production.
be the video
Levi.
after I thought I recorded a 1 hour video.
Let me reset this.
I'm sure we've all done this. Thank God it was only an hour. All my videos are 1 hour videos. I just edit them into 20 minutes to not waste your time. And I would hate to think that I was wasting anyone's time. This is just interesting. If you are interested in the interesting, then you're in the right place. If you have an open mind and enjoy wonderment and researching the past from a different perspective, again, you're in the right place. What a mess. I don't even know if I want to try to share the video the way I did before. And recently I will have talked about the simulation, Jason's work at Archaics, and I do believe we're in a simulation. And how would you know if things were going well in the simulation? Surely we have assistants on the outside. In religion, they would call this angels. Some are just watchers. But we've all experienced things in life where things work out, and sometimes they just don't. And I typically listen to this. If things are not working out, it's to say if you hit a dead end once, twice, 3 times, you might not be on the right course in your life as a community, and the stories you're telling are false and have led you to a broken present.
Tell us a story, dog.
There's not roads out here. It's swampy.
I think we already watched that one. Alright. Guys. Let's see. What is really going on? Oh my god. What's this? Oh, it's this guy. This guy's got some crazy stuff. Alright, let's see it.
If you knew this in school, you would be the smartest person in your school.
How do I become the smartest person? I'm not in school, but I want to be the smartest person. Come on. Spill the tea.
Something very...
We're
If
going
you
back.
knew this in school, you would be the smartest person in your school. That is because this is how everything we study works. It is the concept of oscillation or vibration. Let me show you how it works. Let's break this wave up into a band like our eyes and our ears do. If we take the bottom right corner of the spectrum and connect it with the top left, we can see how these blend into each other. That is how we mix notes in music and colors in art. You are now an artist. That is fun, but what about the not fun stuff, like math? To figure out where any of those balls are, we just need the x and the y measurement. That is trigonometry. If I keep doubling how fast that wave is going, it starts to add these nodes, circles within circles. Enough of these nodes creates the illusion of 3D and the study of spheres. Since we know trigonometry, the trig of all of these circles that make the sphere is calculus and the basis for physics. The interaction of these spheres gives us the torus.
I wish I
The
would have
torus
known
shows
that.
us how electrons orbit a nucleus, creating these patterns that interact with other
I never
patterns,
understood
creating
that,
matter.
what that was.
You have now unlocked particle physics. Before we get too advanced, we need to go back to the sphere, because the interaction of these spheres is a study in itself. Studying the interaction of spheres gives us geometry. Geometry. From here we can see how nature uses this, and then use it in our own designs like in architecture or engineering. With a better understanding of how nature builds things, we can use that information to build our own things. Now, if we go back and look at the shape of atoms, then they start to make sense. Vibrations above atoms make molecules, vibrations above molecules make all the stuff. Vibrations above the stuff create stuff within stuff. It's called an emulsion. Like this, it creates a moving system with boundaries, allowing more interactions with more stuff. Above that, we get systems that organize and replicate, creating primitive forms of life. Find out what you and your kids are interested in and use that. If you knew this in school, you would be the smartest person in your school. That is because this is how everything we study works. It is the concept of oscillation or vibration. Let me show you how it works. Let's break this wave up into a band like our eyes and our ears do. If we take the bottom right corner of the spectrum and connect it with the top left, we can see how these blend into each other. That is how we mix notes in music and colors in art. You are now an artist. That is fun, but what about the not fun stuff, like math? To figure out where any of those balls are, we just need the x and the y measurement. That is trigonometry. If I keep doubling how fast that wave is going, it starts to add these nodes, circles within circles. Enough of these nodes creates the illusion of 3D and the study of spheres. Since we know trigonometry, something very strange about magnetics, I need you to buckle up for this one. Now, magnetic fields are in the shape of a torus, which is just a fancy word for donut. And we can see that in the ferrocell, and we can see it when these iron flakes are flying around this magnet on a chain. You can see how the energy flows. Cool, why does this matter? This is how the planet protects itself from the sun when it tries to fucking attack us.
Damn.
Shoots these angry balls of energy at us, and the magnetic field gets bent when it interacts with it. Now, when these magnetic field lines connect again, they go back into the poles of the Earth through that toroidal shape, and then that's how we get the auroras. Now, the interaction of these creates these magnetic hotspots on the planet, and we call these ley lines. Now, we can see this with the new satellites that we have. It gives us a very clear image of all these little points where they're at. Now, the weird thing is, our ancient homies built their structures on hotspots on the planet, and they accidentally built them in the same shape that can harness all of that energy into a fine point, creating a magnetic field around the structure. Now, they accidentally created a giant alternator, and if only they knew what shape could harness that energy. You know, imagine the stuff they could do.
That was not an accident.
Nobody is ready for this one. This probably looks familiar. It probably looks like these cymatic patterns that I talk about all the fucking time. And all these things is a petri dish on top of a speaker and a light on top of it, making these cool mandala-like patterns. Now, this man made one of them in a 3D design software and took cross sections of it and put different colors to those cross sections. So using a 3D cymatic pattern, this man was able to create a perfect image.
Crazy.
Using sound and light. I want you to sit and really think about this, because this is the code to reality. This is the code to the matrix, or whatever you want to call it. This is how energy interacts with itself to create everything that you see. This is why cymatics and sound is so important. Vibration in general. It's all waves.
Yeah.
And that's how we make sense of it.
It's crazy. Where he used an image and split it into 3 images. Mystery solved.
Nobody is ready for this one. This, we have to chat about this. If you clap at Chichen Itza, it has an echo. Except for when you clap in front of the stairs. It sounds like a bird. Now, other than being masters of acoustics, we seem to keep finding things about the ancient empire of America. This 110-mile-long network of roads connected a community of 650 square miles in Guatemala. Most people know about the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon, but most people don't know how big this thing is. An imposing capital for a nation that included the Olmec and their stone heads, the Toltec with their pyramids and perfect sculptures. Continuing south, we hit Costa Rica, which has tens of thousands of perfectly spherical balls. To see all of this stuff, you have to travel along the longest road ever built by humans, the Inca Road, where you can stop at Machu Picchu, a city that was hidden so well it was lost for hundreds of years, using architectural and agricultural techniques that no one can explain. We sit here and study these people, using stories from the dudes that took their stuff and called them murderers. How convenient. Now, I am from Texas, and I have eyes, and I know who built this place. So if you're a Texcoco, Mexica, Inca, Aztec, Mayan, Olmec, Toltec, Yucatec, Peruvian, there are those here that still remember.
I mean, how do you know?
I know you know what this is. It's one of these, but
we watched this one yesterday.
Is insane. This is an old cathode ray tube. This is insane. This is the exact moment a human egg gets fertilized. Now what you're seeing is a flash of light the moment it gets fertilized. This is a chemical reaction that releases a lot of zinc that seals the outside of the egg so it can't get fertilized by another little guy. What happens next is even more insane. It starts to ripple. The outside of the egg starts to look a lot like the bubble cymatics video that I posted a while back. and it shows that there's fluid motion within that egg. You literally start life vibrating. Cymatic images make some really cool complex patterns, but wait until you see this. This is a top-down image of what DNA looks like as a molecule. The left-hand side of this image is a cymatic pattern. Now look at the spoke symmetry and the circle symmetry. Here's another one. This is B DNA, and the background is a cymatic pattern. Here are all the DNA counterparts from A, B, C, and Z DNA. Now they're not exact, but there's a lot of research coming out that shows that we can modulate gene expression through vibration. It can also increase immunity in plants. Now, if you love this kind of thing, my cymatics course is finally out. It's right here on TikTok. It covers everything from cheat code to the matrix, simulation, whatever you want to call it. Energy, frequency, vibration. And that is what it looks like.
Yep.
If we want to observe energy, we have to put it into a container. That's how we view cymatics. We put a petri dish full of water, and we put vibrations through it. If we don't, then the ripples just go off into infinity. They go into their resting state. Energy is vibration. Now, when we think of a vibration, we usually think of it in 2 dimensions. We see these things in 3 dimensions. To process them, our senses follow and pick up on the rules of the universe. That these are these complex looking mathematical equations. They're actually pretty simple. This is visualizing
simple.
Pi. It's pretty much just tracing a path of a particle.
And
you'll notice that it never draws the same path. That's how we get the uniqueness of everything in the universe. But that's 2D. Phi allows us to see perspective in 3D. It's another universal constant. Now we have our container. If we keep adding these particles of energy, then it starts to morph these particles into other things. That's how we get the octaves of matter that we see everywhere around us. It's just energy in different shaped containers. Now this is where E8 comes from. The E8 lattice is the geometry for how all things manifest. In mathematics, it's the theory of everything because it shows how everything is actually just a shadow of a higher dimension of reality. So those orbiting bubbles, when they harmonize with each other, they form more complex shapes, like these bubbles do. If we add another one, we can create this cube like we saw earlier. Your mind is just processing that information and forming a picture of everything that you see around you. There's really no thing there. There is no spoon. You just move through the different densities of energy. It's all in here.
Ah! It's all in the head.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. I take a dolphin and I slow it down. It sounds like a monkey. If I take a chimpanzee and I speed it up, it sounds like a mouse.
They all speak the
same
same
language. Take a
language.
mouse, slow it down, it sounds like a seagull. If I take a seagull and slow the seagull down, it sounds like a gorilla.
How do you know what a gorilla sounds like?
If I take a whale and
I don't
we
know.
speed the whale up,
I've heard a whale. Can't hear whales.
Sounds like birds.
You're not supposed to speak
Here's some cows.
to whales.
Sped up, they sound like puppies. If we
What
slow
the
crickets
heck?
down, we're back at birds. Information is transmitted via waves. We can see that, we can hear that.
The Matrix
fundamentals
is
of
just
carrier
getting
wave.
lazy.
The harmonics differentiate my voice from a singer. Whales communicate below our hearing, so we have to speed it up to hear it. Our hearing is right here, and above it,
Freaking bats. I love Halloween.
freaking bats and whales and dolphins use higher frequencies to see. They bounce the waves off to get an image. Everything is connected this way. We need to talk about this. This is granite carved to perfection. It requires a diamond tip drill bit, which they did not have 1,000 years ago.
Not at all.
A lot of people jump to ancient aliens or some conspiracy theory.
What is it, though?
Understanding Weirdtok would be like trying to explain a cell phone 200 years ago. So I'm going to explain it with cymatics. If you follow me, you know that this is vibrating water on a speaker, makes these cool patterns. But cymatics can decode everything you see. This is the Konark Sun Temple. I think you know where I'm going with this. This is exact. It's not close. It is perfect. Let's take a look at the pillars. That is a sound wave. That is a sound wave. That's a 3D sound wave. Our culture is obsessed with the how they did it, but we got to look at the why they did it first. Another important concept, sound travels through the air.
Holy crap.
And if you
that pillar
take that
looks
sphere
just
and you
like...
track it through time, it starts to look like these very complex pillars. This is one of our acoustic resonators that we use today. This is a Hindu temple. This is a high-frequency oscillator. It's used to keep time in digital devices. If we go across the pond to India's neighbor, we come across this cool temple called Angkor Wat. Left is the sensor, right is the temple diagram for Angkor Wat. If you're like me, you grew up thinking that these were just myths used by religion to keep society under control. And that's true if you don't have the piece that connects it all. Use your eyes to decode the manual and discover your purpose. Granted, it's pretty hard to edit.
That pillar looks just like the wave. I feel I can see that. I can see why they...
A new experiment might change the course of human history. It's measuring quantum entanglement in a new way, and if you're not scientifically inclined, don't worry about it. I'm going to make it real easy.
You better.
This is quantum entanglement. If I tickle this particle laughs. This one spins right, that one spins left. Very smart people measure quantum stuff with lasers. They take one beam and they split it into two, separating the particles. Then they record what each of those lasers draw with something very similar to a Polaroid, but way more advanced. The lasers draw a pattern because light is like sound, it moves in waves, but these waves have a very particular pattern. If we take a wave and we make it 3D by twisting it, then we can start to see that it becomes a particle sometimes if we freeze it. You can calculate this shape if you know its wave function. This is hydrogen, and that's a picture from IBM of a hydrogen atom. Particles move so fast we can't tell where they're going to be at any given moment. But if we know the general shape of their orbits, then we can calculate that using one of these functions. Now, if we add a certain amount of energy to this particle, we can get it to stay in this shape, and then we know how to calculate it. So we tune our laser to that shape. Now, it looks like this because of the particles orbiting the central particle. So each one of these lobes is the bigger part, but it orbits close to the center. That's the little part. The same thing happens on the other side. If I change the color, it'll make a lot more sense. The yellow part is one particle, the blue part is another particle. In very simple terms, this part makes that shape up there. That lens amplifies the laser. The laser is then filtered to make sure that particle is lined up. It then goes through this beam splitter. The beam is then split, and I believe that's where the hologram is. The particle we're observing is recorded here, and it's put through a pattern in the hologram. The other particles bounced off a mirror and recorded on the other side. Again, this is simplified, but if the waves match, it gets recorded. If they don't, it doesn't. So we have our reference image from the hologram and the two patterns the split particles drew, and they make that. So why should you care? Well, quantum physics has the potential to unify all disciplines of science. At its core, it uses vibration to explain a lot of things, which agrees with a lot of spirituality. Unifying all of these under one study of what it means to be a human in this reality is the true goal of all of it.
Okay.
Wait for it. Dude. Okay.
What the?
Got another one. There's a point to this.
What the?
And I'm gonna tell you.
Airbender.
This is so cool. Look at this. Okay, one more, but actually two more. Poor fish. What am I talking about? What's going on here? This is vortex math, and you probably learned it in a classroom like that. And that is the problem.
I was asleep.
Nature is the best teacher. We just need to look at stuff to see the concepts. Visually seeing something like a vibrating bubble making this shape is far more interesting than looking at it on a whiteboard. And then you could make a cool magnetic field viewing device and then show people that, because this is amazing. That one's 3D. If you put electricity through this shape, you get some really cool effects that you use in the device that you're holding right now. Understanding that, you could even open up a portal to another dimension.
What?
Joking. But only after I make it interesting can I then show how easy it is to make this shape with math and geometry. Using entertaining visuals. Or you just go inside of one. Kids, students, parents, nobody learns like we teach in classrooms. Taking the art out of reality and made it repetition. That is made just using geometry. Just because that guy wanted to blow your mind, now he has a career making these sick visuals. Reality is sick. Just use your eyes.
Use your eyes, stupids.
AI is now a time machine that's remastered and recolored footage from the 1930s. I'm about to show you a lot here, but look how cool it looked back then.
Dang.
That's ridiculous.
In the 30s?
We went from that to that. I love air conditioning, but I miss these. These are so cool. Did you know they had cabins in there? They weren't just a little bottom thing. They had a whole cruise ship in there that could dock on buildings. A lot has changed, and a lot of people don't notice that these are missing. You see how big? Look, there's a person right there. See how big those bells are? You think those are new? They're not new. Look at the water fountains. That's the water fountain that you get right there.
That's what John Levi was saying
furnaces.
earlier.
That's your furnace. Observe how hard these guys are flexing on you right now. This was across the globe.
Our furnaces
hey,
are a little bit more compact now. I don't see that as a very bad thing, but okay.
If you've never seen,
but they are powered by the grid, which you got to pay for.
Hold on, because you're about to lose your mind. Geometry is deceiving. By moving 2D lines around circles, we can give the illusion that something is 3D when it's really just 2D. This shape in particular is very important. It is a torus. You see the torus shape every day. It is everywhere around you. It is how energy flows and creates reality. Now, whatever way you're looking at it is the right way. It's just a different way that the geometry is flowing. Since it's constantly in motion, the shape is always changing, but it's still the same shape. This is where it gets cool. Your individual perception is how you are going to see this reality. Now, your perception, the more you know about that shape right there, literally the more you know, dictates your resolution of reality. Pretty wild.
Whoa! This guy is blowing my mind. No homo. No homo pause.
That is what your consciousness looks like. If you don't believe me, let me explain. It is an amalgamation or a combination of all of the signals that make you up, making your individual frequency. You start with a source frequency. If you don't have it, you're dead. It's animating frequency, life force, quantum field, whatever you want to call it. The mind then splits that signal up into left and right hemispheres of the brain that get translated by the central nervous system in your body, that then step it down to the organs and muscles that tell the cells how to operate within this reality. All of this conscious energy gets stepped down into signals that each one of these things can use to do the various processes that keep you alive. Since consciousness isn't here, you tune into memories using these things, little antennas here called neurons. Bookmark to where that memory was, and when you connect these, then you have epiphanies and you get a stronger connection to the, we'll call it the, there are many gateways to this web, and the spiritual traditions have their own individual ways of getting there and accessing that information. Understanding and developing this develops humanity as a whole.
My God. Understanding this?
That
take a while,
is a
bro.
freezing ball of water, and I'm going to use it to explain the entire planet. Now, this is very cool, but if you watch very carefully, there's a hidden code within these bubbles. That code is the key to how all things in nature operate, how we observe them. Let me explain. If we look at a freezing pond or a snowflake, they freeze the same way. At their core, they are scale invariant. It doesn't matter what size they are. If we put a bubble on a speaker, we can use that to explain how these clouds form on this mountain. If I change the frequency of that bubble, I can use it to explain these clouds. But this is only a small piece of the puzzle. I can also explain how the winds work on Earth, because Earth is a giant bubble that spins. When it spins, it creates these air currents.
So it's not flat.
You also see these in the ocean.
Okay.
All of this works whether it's a bubble or the ocean. Scale invariant. So let's look at why. The interaction of these bubbles creates a pattern. If we take this bubble and then we draw more bubbles from the center of that bubble and keep going out, we get this particular shape. From this shape, we can create all shapes, but let's look at a hexagon. A hexagon we see in bubbles when they get smushed together. We also see this in molecules. Molecules form stuff that life can use to build more stuff. In In the mineral kingdom, this is how lava pools and crystals form. They use this because it's very structurally sound. If crystals on an ice ball can teach you all of that, then maybe education should be a little more interesting than sitting in a classroom watching a whiteboard.
I agree, my boy. We're learning tonight.
Cool. This is mercury. It's pretty toxic, but it's magnetic. But what it can do is going to blow your mind. It has similar properties to water in terms of interactions with vibrations. That is because it's a liquid. But it is a liquid metal, which makes it very interesting. When you push a current through it, it starts to spin. Now, in electrical systems, if we put power into something, we can make it do stuff. If we reverse the process, we can generate electricity. Now, I posted a video a while back about Plasma Channel taking a drone with a piece of metal up into the air and connecting it to the ground with a metal wire. He powered a Corona motor with this. That's because there's a ton of voltage up in the sky. So I got an idea. We plug one of these balls into a pole in the sky like an outlet. And we put some mercury in that ball and spin it, creating a vortex, pulling electricity into the ground. It's not going to make a lot of power, so I googled how to double that.
Our
and they showed me this resonator that can double it. So once we grab it, I'm going to put this right under it, and I made it this design because I googled how energy flows the best, and that's what it showed me. But I want to share this, so I googled how to send it, and it showed me this antenna, so I put it on top of the design, and that's finally what I came up with.
Oh,
we could even share it with like a greenhouse to grow crops in the winter. Or we could share it with like anybody. We just have to make our cities look more like that, kind of. About to file a patent, so no one can steal this idea. This is the highest resolution image of the brain ever created. It was created by neuroscientist Dr. Greg Dunn. The way that it's made is going to blow your mind. That is not CGI, it's not an X-ray, it's a picture. He created this using a technique called micro-etching, which uses light to reflect the patterns of movement within the brain. The laser engraves these micro lines in the metal that reflect the light and create the motion. If you've ever used Silly Putty to make a copy of a newspaper, he did this with a real brain and used lasers on metal. Really absorb this, because this is your brain taking in the vibratory signals from sight, sound, touch, all of your senses, and making a composite image of those that your consciousness puts together into one image that is your experience of your reality. The amount of information and things you are processing is almost inconceivable. There's a ton of things going on in the world externally, and there's a ton of things going on in you internally that you have to process. As the observer of these processes, you get to choose how you perceive these experiences. That is how you broadcast to the world. That's your vibe. I know there's a lot of crap going on in the world, but you would not be processing all of this stuff if it didn't matter.
Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
My birthday's in a couple days. As a thank you
Mine
for
too.
all the support. If you take your hand and you curl it in on itself and look at it, you can
27th,
see
baby,
the
birthday.
code of the matrix that you're walking through right now. That's because everything around you uses it because it's so simple. You draw a perfect square and another one right on top of it and connect them with an arc, and you just keep doing that. That's literally all it is. School makes this way too complex. If I keep adding these spirals, that's what this is doing. Think of it as energy. More spirals around, you get what we see as a magnetic field. If we add more and more, you start to get an image that looks a lot like this picture of an atom that IBM took. Now, in my last video, I showed how this can go from geometry to life. That's because this system allows energy to flow constantly. A bunch of Fibonacci spirals rotating around a center point is how we make a torus. That is how a torus field is generated, and that's how the biggest things in the universe stay together. So this framework not only makes up the atomic, but it holds together the galactic, and it's in your hand. That's a pretty funny coincidence.
Quinky dink, if you will.
You know how this works. You can manipulate your own genetics. If you think of DNA like a record, it's transcripted like that needle running across the vinyl translates the vibration into sound. Except this translates it into protein. DNA is the hard drive to your whole body. We used to think the DNA that didn't make proteins was junk, but that's not true. The field of epigenetics is the study of how your behaviors and environment can change your genes. All the information that has ever been created ever can fit on a ping pong ball sized amount of DNA. Researchers in China just created a computer that can run billions of different programs at the same time using DNA. That massive storage and capability allows us to live in the most harsh environments on the planet and also fight off the worst diseases. Those are subconscious signals from the environment, but you control your thoughts that are electrical impulses or vibration. In Switzerland, they've been able to turn genes on and off using electrical impulses. But if we can control thought, we might be taking the long way around to achieve the same result.
Okay, Ma, chill out. Stop.
That is Stonehenge. It's very cool, but what it actually does is going to blow your mind. I learned that this was a seasonal clock, and it is, but you have to look at it from a different lens. This is what sound looks like going through water.
I never knew
This
how.
is Stonehenge. It is built on top of an aquifer. So, who else builds their things on top of water? Well, I showed you in the last video that pretty much everybody builds their best stuff on top of water, even Tesla. Light goes through it. Light can melt the hardest things on the planet when focused, and when used for communication, it's the fastest way to do that. It looks like a pattern of sound. Sound travels fastest through solids and can destroy cities if it's a big enough wave. Sound is a bigger wave than light. Sound can move mediums it passes through, like water, and bend the light. That's how we get cymatic images. You can see this in the twinkling of stars as well. Our technology sends ones and zeros through light. Let's pretend everything around us is made of a very unique vibration that can be expressed in a frequency. Or you can grow crops with it.
Oh!
This is the black magic of ferrofluid.
What?
So how to use it. So what happens when you pass an electric current through a coil, influencing the magnetic field, which influences the ferrofluid. But it can do way more than that. We can use it by smushing it between two sheets of plastic or glass to view magnetic fields. And if you look really closely, you can see the shape that it makes is the torus. Now, I've talked about that video up there, but it's very important because those steel balls are suspended in a magnetic field, and if you look at the video below it, they rest in the pockets that the magnetic field creates. This is because energy flows in a torus, but it creates geometry out of that. Now, a while ago, IBM took this picture of an atom. This picture was made by photographing the pattern sound makes by going through water on top of a speaker. Now, these two are vastly different in scale, but they follow the same rules. Why is that? This is because there are geometric rules that govern the entire universe. The basics of this can be seen in the Flower of Life. There's a few basic principles, and they're very easy to understand. Energy flows so fast through the shape, it's like a helicopter blade. It appears that it's a solid disc, but it's not. It's four blades moving very quickly. This allows atoms to bond together and electrons to flow around that. If we know this structure on a very small level, then we can extrapolate that and use it to uncover the nature of physical reality. If you connect the lines within this shape, it can create all other shapes that we use in geometry to build everything that we see around us. This was rediscovered by Plato after he trained with the priests in Egypt, creating the Platonic solids that you see here. When you nest these shapes inside of each other, they create strength because they support the shape that they go inside of so that it doesn't collapse. This provides rigidity to matter, and these rules are used in architecture to create very strong buildings even. If this stuff interests you, I'm trying to cover all the bases here. I have the history, the physics, consciousness, and how...
Jesus.
This is how you direct energy. This is how we photograph cymatics. We push energy through water, and when that water resonates, it creates geometry which bends the light that we're shining above it into these cool patterns. This is Chichen Itza, and this is the Kicker 12-inch subwoofer. These two share a relationship with water. If you know the geography of the Yucatan, you know that these pyramids were built over aquifers. I want you to look really closely at the components of that pyramid and the components of this subwoofer. Combining different materials with the flow of energy guides that compressed air into your ear that we perceive as sound. Now, this is what happens when you hook a very small crystal pyramid up to a Tesla coil and observe the electrical discharge. Depending on the flow of this energy, it can be dispersed or focused. That's why pyramids, stupas, and cathedrals all follow the same resonant geometry. That shape is a guide, but why over water? If you look closely, cathedrals, the pyramid, and Tesla's Wycliffe Tower are all built over aquifers. We're gonna find out. But the energy here is fundamental. This is the geometry used in high transmission acoustic focusing. Now these are not acoustic devices, but all waves follow the same rules. As above, so below, with the frequency spectrum. Why were all of these cultures so obsessed with resonance and waveguides? What do you think they were doing with the energy? What was the energy? I'm going to leave you with this cliffhanger because I think you know the answer. You are seeing what you're hearing right now, and this might change your life. This is a very talented singer with her voice projecting through water. And why this is so powerful is because sound travels through all dimensions. In the second dimension, on a plane. In the third dimension, through a medium like water or air. And in the fourth dimension, where light bends around something like a bubble and we can see it and experience it through time, where that energy can flow. As soon as we were able to see this, we started to analyze what these shapes were and how they related to reality. We discovered it contains energy in atoms, and it gives those atoms the structure that they need to pair themselves with other atoms, making molecules. This builds everything around us. Our ancient homies knew this, and they made art to reflect that, to teach through that art. In doing this, they literally built the entire consciousness of humanity, which is also vibration. But it appears that most people have got lost looking for the broadcast without realizing they are the broadcast.
We are the broadcast. You heard that here first.
Really closely here, because these are not just similar, they are exact. This is a cathedral rose window, and this is a cymatic glyph. The cymatics are made by putting a petri dish on top of a speaker and observing the resonant geometry that forms through the water. They look similar because that is what they are. They're the glyphs expressed artistically. The problem is, they do not have cymatics. We only invented that in the 60s. Let's look at a few more and make sure that I'm right here. These are spiral cymatics.
How do they know?
These are spiral rose windows. Let's look at a basic one first. This signal is not very clear, but you can see that the geometry is still there. If we increase the signal, then we start to get the details that you see in the window. Let's look at a famous one. This one is Truro Cathedral. You can see the linear geometry, and the nodes also line up all the way across this entire glyph. Chartres is one of the coolest rose windows I've ever seen in my life, and this geometry is even more flawless than the last. All of these line up, the linear, the nodes, and even the details of this. Look at this, that right there, look at here, here.
How'd they even make that window?
Nailed it. The next one is Rouen Cathedral, probably butchering that too, but this is linear as you can get. Look at the geometry lined up here. The circles line up, the big circles and the small circles line up, even the details within it. Look at the separation of the geometries there. Cathedrals are esoteric, occult buildings. This means there is knowledge hidden for a select few within the building itself. If you are into that stuff, I have some stuff for you, including this thing that I just made, just came out. You go here, I have a huge sale going on right now, check it out. This is important, they didn't tell you about it in school. Has to do with this fucking alien that's living inside of you.
What the
It's always 7, always. 7 days in a week, 7 octaves of music, 7 colors in the spectrum, 7 chakras in the body. Don't worry if you're not spiritual. That thing controls your body, and you control that thing with your mind. Signals filter from here down your alien spine thing to the control centers that control your organs, like an RC car. That's how computers work too. A high-level language is translated down to binary so that the hardware can use it. In science, we know that there are 33 vertebrae in the spine. There are 33 degrees in Freemasonry. Jesus got crucified at 33. Kundalini, the caduceus, and the Jed pillar also symbolized this flow of energy. The Great Pyramid and the Vitruvian Man also show where these translating centers are within the human body. They're little brains. They're like your heart brain, your gut brain, thinking with your... Look close. There's 7 on each. Applying that wisdom with our now very modern advances in science, we can combine them into something usable. That is what I've done with Code of Consciousness.
Spill some
Sit down for this one. If you blink very fast, you will see a different mandala pattern every time you blink in that image. This is
do.
the easiest way to understand your personal experience of the universe. That's an actual picture of a hydrogen atom. This is the probability of what that atom will look like when observed at different energy levels, aka how fast it's vibrating within this shape here is going to dictate what it looks like. Taking a frame-by-frame snapshot of where the electrons are when you snapshot, giving them that shape. That shape allows them to lock together into different molecules to build solids, reality, everything that you see around you. This does something very strange. Every time we observe it or measure it, it pops in and out of reality so fast it appears solid like the blades on a helicopter. This can be explained with string theory. When we affect one atom, its counterpart also gets affected no matter how far away it is. That string is attached to the source, or the origin, singularity, Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. This allows for communication with the source through vibration. Now your particular body, the observer, is like the universe putting VR goggles on. This way it can observe itself through any point using the lens of your senses. You communicate your experience back to source, allowing the universe to experience itself through consciousness. It's like the internet linking all of the things.
Oh my god, bro.
Very beautiful simulation.
Alright. Okay. He is spitting too many facts. So many facts. Who's this guy? Oh, okay. Artist. Brainwashing?
This time I'm going to use symbols. This is a symbol for the status quo. Everything looks like we're settled. Here's the symbol for the introduction of a foreign element. Here's a symbol for chaos. And then comes into the practice. And then comes into a new status quo. All right. Security here, security here. Price for security here, high. Price for security here, lower. This is cycle 1. And we could call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I told you at the end of cycle 1, more or less, we could go up as high as 70% comfort and 30% anxiety. We're still, however, dealing with the anxiety syndrome. Now, at the end of the new status quo, because you got more courage, you're going to make that then the beginning of a new cycle and look for a new introduction of introduction of a foreign element. And that'll bring some new chaos, and that'll bring a new practice, and that'll bring a new status quo. Now that's cycle 2. By this time, we're getting a little used to the fact that, hey, you know, we can do it. All right?
You can do it.
So now, at the end of this one, put these numbers here, we are beginning to look forward to some new possibilities. And so here comes, and this time the introduction of a foreign element can be something that already feels that there is something that is familiar about this. Hey, 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 wonderful. And now the chaos comes, but the chaos feels more like a ride on the roller coaster or the merry-go-round or moving in a dance. Hey, hey, hey. And there's more practice, and then we come to a new status quo. And by the time we have done this 3 times, we have moved from sickness into health. We have moved from a feeling of rejection to a feeling of acceptance, and that we're now ready for things to meet life with. And now at this point in time, we're probably close to 99% comfort and maybe 1% anxiety, just so we don't forget how to use it. So then it keeps on going. I've been fiddling around with older people. Other older people say, I had it in life, and so on. And as I do this, and how many people come up to now, their vitality is here. Here is, as we reduce the anxiety level and increase the comfort level, we bring vitality into people's lives. You will hear a lot during this time about what stands in our way of vitality. Part of it is our rules from the growing up. All right. Once I presented this to a group of medical people, and they said, Virginia, do you realize that that's also a picture of a heartbeat? So this graph. All right, now the stages of change. Then, you are at the first level. When you made a decision to come here, you were in a status quo. And it's not to be judged good or bad, that's where you were. And you gave yourself permission to come here, which is what we all do when we want to reach out for something. And you come. And the introduction of the foreign element is the place, is the people, is me, is all the things that are different. And then the business about how the chaos fits. I don't like this bedroom. Doesn't have the right carpet. Or, gee, I wanted to be with her. Or I don't know what. I don't know. All kinds of stuff. Isn't this wonderful? That's all part of it. So as we move into this, we are experiencing the process of change, which is simultaneous with the process of growth. So the process of change is actually the process of growth. Now, I want to talk a minute about this. Growth can be like cancer. That's growth. It can be like a tree abundantly growing. So what I want to be clear about for you,
clear it up, please,
is that we can grow negatively as well as positively. Change doesn't necessarily mean that it is going into a positive direction. I want to always put that in, because one thing that happens a lot is that people think there's one way that you can make it positive and another force that makes it negative. Anything that changes anything has the power of dynamite. We have the opportunity and the responsibility to direct that growth. Brainwashing follows these same principles, by the way. Because in order for people to behave in these horrible ways, like they did in Germany and others, they had to be able to change all kinds of stuff.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I just want that to be clear. There is nothing light about change. It's heavy in the sense of it's powerful. Not heavy, but powerful. I respect it.
There is a special way of, under the UCC, if we go back to that, there's a special way of signing without responsibility for your signature.
Why is it only on my left here?
So that if you sign in the special way according to the UCC, you're not responsible for anything that's on the paper.
Okay. Now, for the layman, describe UCC. What are we talking about?
Okay.
What is the UCC?
The UCC is a set of codes that was set up over 100 years ago by lawyers. And with the Uniform Commercial Code comes contract law. It's all to do with contract. So we are not under any law. We're just under contract. Someone could call you up and says, oh, would you like to contract with me to get TV license or to get something that you need, and you contract. Telephone, everything is contract, everything. And under the UCC, you do not have to sign. A stamped signature or a typed up signature is considered sign under the UCC. So when you get a letter in the mail and it has no signature, or it just have a stamped signature, then it is considered sign. The UCC is very, very important for people to learn about what's going on with their lives, because we are under contract law, no other law.
And all of that language is designed to confuse the hell out of you.
Yes, it's designed under the UCC, and they know. They know what they're doing, and they know how to manipulate you.
So you're saying all judges are very schooled and versed in UCC?
Yes.
They're taking special training schools in order to learn this?
Yeah, the president appoints all the federal judges in America. And, and they go to Scottsdale, Arizona and Reno, Nevada to train how to apply this fraud contract in the courtroom.
And in the United Kingdom?
The United Kingdom, majority of the judges here in the United Kingdom are not judges. They're just doing business. They might be a retired lawyer. They're doing business as judge.
And so-called judges in Malawi and in Canada?
All of them, exactly the same system. They're under the UCC.
UCC one, you know me.
So Calvin says, I don't think math is a science. I think it's a religion. Hobbes says, a religion? Yeah, all these equations are like miracles. You take two numbers and then you add them. They magically become one new number. No one can say how it happens. You either believe it or you don't. This whole book is full of things that ought to be accepted on faith. It's a religion. And in the public schools, no less. Call a lawyer. For example, courage is the mean between cowardice and recklessness. 3 has a quality of completeness and perfection. When we start a race, we say, ready, set, go. And we say, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Not as easy as 1, 2, or as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4.
No. Because easy and 3
in various types of flowers, like this lily, which is actually 3 nested groups of 3, giving us a beautiful layered grouping of 9 petals.
Pretty.
Fruits and vegetables often organize their seeds or structure according to 3s, like these melons, cucumbers, and peppers. And clovers, which remind us of the geometry of the triangle. Historically, some cartographers placed Jerusalem at the center of a 3-petaled world map because of its importance for the Abrahamic religions. Mountains break the flat horizon, reaching up like a symbolic triangle and pointing back down in their reflection. In architecture, the pyramids of Giza are perhaps the most obvious example of this archetype of the triangle. Triangles are inherently stable. Think of the 3-legged stool, which is far superior to the 2-legged stool. If you've ever done the engineering experiment to make a bridge out of paper, you know that one way to increase the strength is to fold it into triangles, like a fan, which is really a series of small arches. We might not think of arches as related to 3s, but it's actually a wonderful illustration because you take these 2 sides coming together, and until they connect together at the center with a keystone, they can't hold up any weight. So as Leonardo da Vinci said, an arch is 2 weaknesses which together make a strength. 3s can create more complex architectural compositions as well. Here's a lovely example from the Italian Renaissance, the Church of San Ivo.
Okay, 3, yes.
The top of the document is such approved for release for 2001. Well, the government's really slow. It was actually only just released yesterday. Anyway, and there's some blacked out sections in there, which means it's still classified. It's the CIA's talk about Nikola Tesla and his scalar waves. I don't know if you know what scalar waves are, but they're a different form of energy propagation that have no transverse components. We think in terms of Hertzian waves, which have frequency and amplitude. Well, a scalar wave doesn't work that way. It's Nikola Tesla's longitudinal propagation. Instead of actually having cycles, it actually has voltage. So it's not measured in cycles or frequency, but in volts. And this has been long rumored, no conspiracy crap. I mean, that scalar waves, which the government actually got from Nikola Tesla, is the basis for, they call it the dark weapon. There have been confirmations from many people that this is not conspiracy stuff, because I hate conspiracy crap. Some conspiracies are true, however. Most, however, are the ramblings of BS lunatics. But hey, if you don't trust the CIA, who are you going to trust? It's a document on their own website. I'll give you another link below, too, that'll give you an example if you don't know what a scalar wave is. But it is a fact, by the way, that there were 2 huge trunks when Nikola Tesla died that went missing. that they were confiscated, and the United States government actually admits to having those, but they're not available for public viewing at all. They never have been. Never. It's confirmed that A, 2 trunks went missing when Nikola Tesla died, and 2, the government admits, let me use that word again, admits that they have the trunks. Anyway, please check out notice the black sections that are blacked out on the CIA classified document.
Yeah, let me just go review it real quick.
Online just a couple days ago. Even though it was approved at the top of the document, I think, in 2001.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
The key to hydration, which we'll go into later, is hydrogen. When water, just like everything else, there's a feminine essence in water, which is hydrogen, and there's the masculine essence, which is oxygen. So when water is treated in a very masculine, aggressive way, what's happening is, I believe I will be able to prove this into a lab, that the feminine essence, a portion of the feminine essence, the hydrogen, the key to hydration, is leaving, because hydrogen gas can go through any material except for aluminum. So a portion of the feminine essence is leaving. And again, we have just overlooked this. There's nothing that we can't change and turn around. We can. We can turn this around. So I've come to a realization that water is the most programmable substance on the planet. It's a liquid crystal. And what are we? We are 75% water. The planet is 75% water. So we are a liquid crystal. And so because of the fact that the sensitivity of water is so sensitive, most people, where they store their chemicals, right under the kitchen sink, the very worst place to store your chemicals, because the water is picking up the frequency, the vibration of that chemical by storing it by your pipes. This is truly how sensitive water is. One molecule of water carries 440,000 bits of information. There's literally 440,000 individual panels on one molecule of water.
Wow.
We could be using these in our computers, and we have already, but
water,
they can't make money at it.
I love you, water.
So,
thank you.
We've come to figure out, well, we can filter water, and we can get out the physical contaminants, but again, what's equally as important is that we remove the vibrational contaminants, because they're equally as important. So people in the city, I know people, oh, I have an RO system, or I have a really good distillation system. But you've only done half of the work, and the water's dead. They're not dead. It's in a state of a coma. Is what everything in the universe is spiraling. The galaxies, the planets, the weather patterns. Look at the rivers, lakes, the oceans. The waters constantly. Rivers are formed like this for a reason. They're formed in a snake because as the water goes around the bends, more and more vortices are creating and spiraling and spinning. This is how we keep water healthy and alive. We literally have, from my understanding, we have two forms of motion, basically. We have the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is the levitational energy, the ascending, a levitational energy, and the masculine is the gravity, descending, death and decomposing. And nature has this cycle, this flow. It's more of a balance of like 65 feminine and 35 masculine. Steiner, he was the father of biodynamic farming, and his statement was, as you see here, a vortex with a deep crater, in stirring in biodynamic ingredients. Overall aim is to draw on the super sensible forces from the cosmos and from the center of the earth. And that's what is happening when you create a very large centripetal interwinding vortex. You're pulling in energies from the heavens, and you're pulling these energies in, and they literally go down into the earth, and they go the other way too. These energies go back up the other way. It's not just a one-way thing. The key to hydration, which we'll go into later.
Oh, God.
Many of us think that this plastic is going into being recycled, but the majority of it is going onto a barge and going to India, and it's going into the landfill, because it costs them more money to make a new bottle than it does. It costs more money to recycle the bottle than it does to make a new one. So corporate America water bottle companies are raking in the dough too, 180,000% profit. So ask yourself next time you support that
that's a lot.
plastic bottle of water, would you like to be dressed in plastic, first off? Would you like to be sold as a commodity? And the other problem is a lot of this plastic is going into our oceans. And this is causing a real big problem. The North Pacific Garbage Patch, which is about 2.5 times the state of Texas, it's a big gyre. All this plastic is just, and garbage is sucked into this gyre. It spins around, and the plastics are breaking down. And literally, there's 6 times more plastic particles than there is plankton. So this, again, is causing...
God dang, boy.
Scientists a couple of years ago went to the most pristine bodies of
Fucking
water
up
on the
the
planet,
earth.
the North and South Pole, and what they found was 80% of the baby male fish were reverting to female because of the estrogen levels. So, again, we can change this, we can turn this around, but it all starts from what are we going to support? What are we going to put our energy to? Another thing that I came to a conclusion is that, you know, years ago we got tired of lowering the bucket down into the well and schlepping the water into the house. So we discovered pumps and we discovered pipes. But we never thought about how nature worked when we did this. We didn't think of nature's way at all. We just sought simplicity. Pump, pipe, we can get it to come right out of our tap here. Well, the problem of this is this. If water doesn't continue to spiral and spin, it loses its life force. So pumping water down straight pipes literally causes friction, which strips electrons from the water. It strips the natural magnetism from the water, and it's actually a very masculine, aggressive way of treating water.
Bibi, you learnt all of this.
Expanding and contracting.
What the heck is that? Is that real?
There it goes. There it goes. It's lifting up. Now, man, if you still don't believe in fucking aliens, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. But look at that. It's moving. Oh shit, that is fucking crazy.
Okay.
I have the phone on top of my car, trying to keep it as steady as possible. I'll zoom out. That's what it looks like.
What the heck?
You literally just saw it move. That is so fucking cool. It's going down. You see it dropping? Let's see. Zoom out. It's so fucking cool.
Okay.
No, but it's moving.
It's a drone? Dangling from a helicopter? Looks fake. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Sources.
Aspirin was considered a wonder drug and marvel of modern medicine at the time it was first introduced, and is still regularly used by most Americans roughly a century and a half after its invention. Aspirin.
The straw man is your name written in block letters.
It's the coach. Of course. That's the recruiting process. Come on, man. Name an athlete that's ever been drafted, that's been on the interview ever, that said, man, I went to such and such because they had a great biology professor. I wasn't a bad quarterback, though.
What's the etymology?
All right. On that note, we outie. It's time to eat. Benefit from what, bro?
And NASA officials said that
long ass video. All right, don't forget to follow and